here. He's really the only one today that in Helen that I can recall who were here when I was here. I don't. Is there anybody else remember when I was here?
Sister Jean.
Huh?
My sister Jean.
Oh, Jean. Okay.
I remember.
Over Becky Kelly.
And Becky Kelly, Elmer's daughter.
Oh, okay, Brother Elmer. Okay. Well, I didn't know what happened to him, but I just learned from Brother Jimmy that he had passed away, and of course I knew him, and he held 2 or 3 revivals as well as I remember when I was here. But as I said, it's good to reflect back, but not live in the past. And I have a lot of favorite songs, and some of them are songs that bring back memories. But the best ones, I think, are those that speak of the land that's fairer than day. So we're really not going backward, are we? We're not looking backward, even though in doing so, it helps us to understand who has really been helpful to us in the years past. And I can't not help from actually recognizing so many people that have influenced my life, Brother Lonnie, and among those was Brother Bell, as most of you knew. I think he was here, how long, Brother Jimmy?
About 50, about nearly 50.
A long time. I remember every Sunday morning he would stand outside the door and welcome people, sunshine or rain. This is kind of what stood out in my memory of Brother Bell. But the word that I'd like to pass on to all of you is the fact that we're moving on, and in the process, there's a lot of preparation that has to be made. And Brother Lonnie, I just picked this up. I think it was last night. I was reading in the Gospel of Luke of John the Baptist came preparing the way in the wilderness. So that word "prepare" has a lot of meaning that I could elaborate on. And then when Christ came, he was the way, the truth, and the light. But then more blessed even than that is the fact that he, in John, I believe, chapter 14, he said, I go to prepare a place for you. So John the Baptist came preparing the way, and Christ is now gone. How long has he been gone? Somebody tell me. 2,000 years? 2,000 years. So what did he say? I go to prepare a place for you. So if he's taken 2,000 years to prepare that place, heaven must be a wonderful place.
Amen.
So I'm looking forward to it. Then you can also sort of figure in that word prepare, he's preparing his people. We are a prepared people waiting for a place that's been prepared for us. So I just simply give that little testimony and encourage each one to keep up and keep telling the story. And the song that Gail, if you don't mind, we're both going to sing it together, Brother Lottie. And there's a little story behind it that I think has a message that would be really beneficial to each one of us. And, we learn from others, do we not? And, in this the latter 20th century, the internet has become real popular. Everybody have an internet, or mostly. And I asked Brother Lonnie if he'd mind me passing on information. I was brought up in the First Baptist Church under J. Frank Norris, so I have established a J. Frank Norris Historical Society, and I have several websites. So if you'll type in J. Frank Norris and my name, Roy Falls, you'll see my videos and my website. And this has kind of been my ministry to inform people what kind of a man he was and the message that he preached. He was a dynamic man of God. This song that I want to sing to you is sort of in keeping with that same thought in mind. I don't know whether any of you ever heard of Gypsy Smith. Was indeed a gypsy from England. And he came to Fort Worth, I think it was about 1936. He was an old man. Of course, I was just 16 years old, but I heard Gypsy Smith preach. Of all places, was the First Methodist Church at Fort Worth. So don't judge him by that. You know, Methodism has become pretty liberal in their theology, but Gypsy Smith was a solid preacher. He was a gypsy. He was converted when he was 12 years old. Some missionary or someone came to the tent, and you know, gypsies are sort of they're nomads. They're here today and gone tomorrow. But in England, there's a lot of stories. If you want to look up on your internet, Gypsy Smith, you'll read the story of a fascinating character. So when he heard the story of salvation, it so impressed him that the message that he preached all over England, coming to the United States, preaching to hundreds of thousands of people. His one message was this: tell it again. And what was he talking about? He was tell people about the wonderful story of salvation and God's love for those who will submit themselves to Him. And to Gypsy Smith, there was nothing like it. So that characterized his life of the desire that he had and carried forth with it. Everywhere he went, he told the simple message. And Brother Lonnie, it is a simple message, indeed. We don't want to complicate it, but as we prepare ourselves, as I said a moment ago, then we'll be able to be a soul winner for Christ, that people will hear the words that we speak. So that's my message to each one of you today, that you'll be blessed for this song entitled, Tell It Again. Let me back up just a minute ago. If I'm not careful, I'll fall. Let me just read the words to this first verse. Sometimes, you know, when we sing, we miss the words. But here's the words to the verse. Into a tent where a gypsy boy lay, dying alone at the close of the day. News of salvation we carried, said he. Nobody ever has told it to me. Think of the people that have never really heard the gospel. And so Gypsy Smith said, tell it again, tell it again. Salvation story, repeat over and over, till none can say of the children of men, nobody ever told me before. And so, Brother Lonnie, I would encourage the church to tell everybody in Northside, you know, as you've already mentioned, that's your goal. And what an opportunity we have, as well as a great responsibility. Pray for me as we sing. Into a tent where a gypsy boy lay, dying alone at the close of the day. News of salvation we carried, said he. Nobody ever had told it to me. Tell it again, tell it again. Salvation story, repeat o'er and o'er, till none can say of the children of men, nobody ever had told me before. Did he so love me, a poor little boy, send unto me the good tidings of joy? Need I not perish, my hand will he hold. Nobody ever the story has told. Tell it again, tell it again. Salvation story, repeat o'er and o'er, till none can say of the children of men, nobody ever had told me before. Smiling he said as his last sigh he spent, I am so glad that for me he was sent. Whispered with close of the sun in the west, Lord, I believe, tell it now to the rest. Tell it again, tell it again. Salvation story, repeat o'er and o'er, till none can say of the children of men, nobody ever had told me before. Why don't everybody sing it with me one more time? The chorus, just the chorus. Tell it again, tell it again. Salvation's flowing, repeat o'er and o'er. Children can sing, the children of men. Nobody ever had told me before. So the story grows sweeter.
Amen,
every day.
brother.